So today's topic, as I say, is social anxiety, and I hope my coat's not making too much noise, because I tried a different coat last week. My coat was really noisy. So the importance of social anxiety is that you understand what it is. So number one, understand. So anxiety, much like anger, is a fight, flight or fear response. So you are in a state of panic when you experience it. So understanding what is happening to your body, because it is a very physical thing, anxiety, social anxiety, can come in the form of a panic attack, and a panic attack is a very, very physical thing. So it actually feels like you're having a heart attack often. That's a lot of clients do say. They think they're going to die. They think their heart is racing, it's beating really, really fast. They can't breathe. They feel like they can't speak. The mind goes blank. The blood rushes to the face, and quite often they'll have a red face and feel very flushed, and feel and look embarrassed and feel extremely nervous. You might frequently want to go to the toilet, because that's another response. A fear response is obviously that will lighten you if you go to the toilet, so you are able to run and you can get away from a situation. Quite often that will be a response that you will want to run away. Some people will freeze. That's where we say the fight, flight or freeze. Some people get aggressive and angry. That's obviously the fight response. So different people react in different ways to anxiety, but those are the three different ways that you can respond. I think it's going to be really noisy with the wind. I'm going to come down here again. So that's an understanding of what it is. So you will have lots of adrenaline running around your body, which causes these physical symptoms, and it is a very distressing feeling to feel like that. But the thing about anxiety and having a panic attack is, if you understand what it is and you can ride it out, if you can just talk to yourself and say, this is a panic attack, it's going to go, I just need to let it go, my body's just doing this, then it will just disappear on its own, because your body will start to realise that there is no need to run, and you can then start to deal with it. So understanding what anxiety is a big, big part of it. Okay? Then you need to start recognising what your beliefs are. So you start to look for triggers. When you feel like this, what is happening? Where are you? Who is there? Where? When does it happen? So you look at all those different points, and you can start to see patterns quite often. If you record every time you feel like that, you'll start to notice that these things always happen at the same time, or in the same place, or with the same person. There is a trigger to that feeling, and once you start to recognise that, then you can start to work through the beliefs that you have. So what are you thinking and what are you feeling when that happens? So what are the thoughts and feelings you have straight after the event? And quite often those are what we call irrational thoughts. They're thoughts that aren't true. You've kind of made them up, and they're just nonsense, but you can't stop yourself from feeling that way. So it's acknowledging that and realising, well, is that true? So what is my evidence to show that that is true? And once you can rationalise all of that and realise that actually what I'm thinking isn't right, then you are able to, I hope you can hear this, then you are able to deal with it. So recognising the beliefs. Then positives. A good thing to do is to start noticing positives every day. This is good for any client that I have with depression or anxiety. I often say get a notebook and write down 10 positives every day, because what we tend to do is recognise only the negatives that are going on every day. And it can be a real challenge, particularly if you've been doing that for a lot of years, to actually notice that there are lots of positive things going on. Because what we tend to do when we're highly anxious or highly depressed, or not highly depressed, if we are depressed, or with severe depression, is you just always look at the negatives and you can't recognise any positives at all. And that's when it's very, it just starts to spiral downwards, basically, because you're not recognising any positives. So what I tend to say to clients is look for 10 every day. And quite often clients will say to me, 10? You're kidding? I can't think of one. So the more you start to notice, actually, the more you can find. And I've actually found some clients will say, oh, I found 15. or it's really not as hard, not as challenging once you start looking for them, and they can be really, really little. They could be things like noticing, I know recent weeks there's been lots of daffodils out everywhere, so it could be a spring day, noticing all the flowers. All the colourful flowers and the greenery has been making you feel good, or the fact that the sun's been out. Recent days it's been absolutely glorious. So actually noticing the blue skies and people being in a much better mood. So quite often people will smile and nod or say hello to you, and that makes you feel good. It's passing on the smile, so to speak. Wow, that was busy. Morning. Yeah, so noticing those positives. And they can be absolutely anything. They can be really big and they can be really tiny. There's somebody just opening a door for you, or being, passing the time of day, or absolutely anything. Having a cuddle with your dog, riding your horse, going for a walk, meeting up with friends for a coffee. Absolutely anything, but all those positives. Sometimes it can be a big thing, like somebody said that you were a very kind person, and take hold of those things, because what happens when you are highly anxious or depressed, you will often not recognise that. And with social anxiety, that's a massive thing, because quite often it's a feeling of intense fear of other people, a feeling of being judged in a negative way, and that is because you're not recognising the positives. And quite often people are not thinking that at all, and people are saying lots of positive things about you, but you're just ignoring it. So don't dismiss these things. Take hold of things, positive things that people say to you, because they won't be saying it for no reason. Quite often it's a genuine thing. People won't say lovely things about you if they don't mean it. It's very, very rare that people will do that. Okay, so that's taking hold of the positives. So we've got understand, beliefs, positives, and challenge. Yeah, so a big part of social anxiety is to challenge those things that you believe, and in order to do that you have to face things that you fear. So what I tend to do, it's the same with phobias, is write down all the different scenarios that bring on the fear factor and rate them. So what is the most terrifying thing, right down to the least terrifying thing, and you rate them and you work through those with the less frightening things first and culminating in the obviously most frightening thing. So you gradually work through to challenge and face those fears. So that's a big part of social anxiety, is to face those. Obviously, to help with this, you can have cognitive behaviour therapy, which is something that I do. I can help as a psychotherapist. I use person-centred psychodynamic and cognitive behaviour therapy to help with social anxiety and with phobias. So I can help with that. Joining support groups, joining walk and talks. I've started doing quite a lot of private walk and talk sessions as well with clients, because obviously if you've got social anxiety, maybe going out in a group isn't something you want to do. But if you phone me, you might find that the walk and talk group might not be going ahead because nobody else is coming. So you might actually get a one-to-one session for £5, which would be really good. So that's every Friday. But obviously if you want a one-to-one session, you want to just talk about your issues and don't want to share with other people, then you can book a one-to-one session. Or if you just want to come to my premises, we can do a one-to-one session there. Sometimes the paperwork side of things and working through the first session would need to be done at my premises, but after that we could do walk and talks, and it's a really good way of not being in a face-to-face situation, walking side by side in the fresh air. It's a really good way to work through those problems. So there are lots of support groups as well through Anxiety UK, Social Anxiety UK, Mind, Young Minds, and there's lots of information on the NHS website. I'm registered through the BACP, which is a NHS registered, acknowledged membership for psychotherapists, where I get a lot of CPD, and I pay to join that group. Yeah, so that's social anxiety. So basically, in a nutshell, you really do need, if you have any issues with going out in social situations, about feeling judged, about doing talks, that kind of thing, if you find that really challenging, it is something you need to address. It is something